Hey guys, so I'm sorry that I haven't posted a video in a while. I've been really busy moving back from the dorm. As you can see, I'm back home. I've also been, trying to enjoy my summer as much as possible and all that stuff. But besides that, today I'm going to be telling you my top 5 tips for great writing. Basically, these are my top 5 rules, or as Barbosa might like to say, guidelines, to what would make a good story. So I hope that you take this as it is, and I hope it helps you out. And yeah, so moving on. So, number 1, have enough details in your paragraphs. A lot of the time when I'm reading fan fiction, they'll have a good plot idea, but it will be covered with basic dialogue and not enough detail going into the description of like what the characters are feeling, the setting, like the background, what's going on around them, the wind whistling, stuff like that. They keep it really minimal and basic, and that's what tends to not make a good story, because it's kind of like, okay, well, the dialogue's okay, but, I would like to know more about what's going on in their brains. If you don't have that in your story, then, you're not going to keep them interested. Number 2, use synonyms for adjectives. Another thing that I see a lot with fan fiction, obviously not with professional or like printed stories, because they go through that publishing process and all that stuff. But with fan fiction, you'll find like three sentences in a row where they say whispered instead of, whispered and softly, and you know what I mean? Like, there is a thesaurus. You can use the internet. Use the internet to look up synonyms for adjectives. It'll help you bring out a better description, and it won't sound as redundant, which can also kill the vibe of the story. Number 3, know your characters. Know where you're going with your character. Know what their motives are. Know what they look like. Know what, like, if they've had childhood, if they've had childhood traumas, so on and so forth. Know your characters. You need to know your characters, because something as simple as a minor detail with their eye color can actually really mess up the story. I tend to, I do this. Other writers with their fan fiction do this. Once again, professional writers notwithstanding, because they go through that whole publishing process and editors and so on and so forth. Number 4, another major thing that you need to keep track of is your story, your plot line. Where are you going with this story? If you just keep adding things in, which I have done, and it totally messes up the story, adding details, that weren't there before, it's kind of like, okay, where are you going with this? Because the whole point of writing mostly is to tell a story. You're going from point A to point B, and you have to fill in all the in-between. So if you don't keep track of where you're trying to get to point B, your story will become all jumbled up and no one will want to read it. Lastly, number 5, proofread, 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 proofread. I don't do this enough. Other authors / writers don't do this enough. You need to proofread your stuff before you upload it. Minor spelling mistakes will kill a reader's buzz really quickly. It's happened to me. Whenever I read fan fiction, just a tiny little spelling mistake and it'll be like, oh, well, you lost the momentum, you lost the mojo. So proofread. You proofread, have someone else proofread it for you if they're willing to, because, you might not catch the same mistakes that they might catch. So it's always a good idea to proofread, and then proofread again, and then proofread again. I will always, reread some of my chapters that I've proofread, and I'll find another mistake. So it's always good to proofread, and it's okay to go back and fix them. No one's saying that, all that stuff is, set in stone. That's, why you're able to edit things, So proofread. That's basically all I have for today. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope that these 5 tips or guidelines will help you with, writing and stuff like that. And yeah, bye!